It's payday, fellas.
Oh, that was a good one. That was really good. And then we've got, hey, you get moving and keep your distance.
Hey, you, get moving. Keep your distance.
That was damn good, mate. I loved it. Oh, there it is. Oh, I missed him. Here we go. Let's go, boys. Here we go. Hoxton hype. Hello?
Hello? Hi.
Hey, Pete.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Oh.
How's it going, my friend? So happy you can be here for me.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
Oh, dude, it's so nice to hear an English voice for once.
I didn't realise you're an Englishman yourself. Stuck out there in Orlando, is it?
No, I'm actually in just south of Boston now. I'm in the northeast.
Righto.
Yeah, I was in Orlando for quite a while. But
and what's taken you out there?
It was work, mate. I worked for a company in England. I grew up in Nottingham, so not far from where I think you grew up.
Yeah, and, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I moved down to London, and then I moved over to New York, then Orlando. Now I'm in Boston.
Blimey.
Yeah.
Boston's quite a good place to be if you're a Brit, I imagine, isn't it? It's sort of the most British bit of the States, probably.
It definitely is. There's a lot of Irish over here, that's for damn sure.
Is there?
Yeah, real lot. Which is really cool because you can get a good pint of Guinness wherever you go. That's the main thing, yeah. But so you grew up in Sheffield. How long were you there for?
Most of my first 18 years, really, and then some of it subsequently, until I went to university, basically, when I was about 19.
Where did you go to uni?
York.
Oh, okay, very cool.
Yeah, not far away from Sheffield.
Yeah, not that far.
Near enough to pop back for, get your washing done. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The amount of times me and my brother used to drive to Meadowhall in Sheffield to go shopping.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I remember the first Christmas it opened, I found myself doing some Christmas shopping on Christmas Eve in Meadowhall.
Oh, my God.
It was like a pub on a Friday night. You couldn't.
It's like Christmas Eve on a pub, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, well, me and my brother used to do the same thing. We used to get like money for Christmas and stuff, and we used to go on Boxing Day.
That's the best thing.
Yeah, that's the absolute best.
But no, very fond memories of Sheffield. And I go back and visit my mum. Still lives there, so I'm back there from time to time. It's nice.
Oh, that's cool. But you're in North London now?
I am, just inside the M25 in the sort of Greater London area.
Oh God, what town are you in?
Rickmansworth.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I lived in Watford.
No way.
Yeah.
It's really funny. Rickmansworth is such a sort of small and inconsequential town, and yet everyone I speak to has heard of it or knows someone who lived there or used to live near there. It's really funny.
Yeah, not crazy. Yeah, I worked in North London, just inside the North Circular. Like the North Circular Road that runs. I forget the name. Is that?
Hello.
Oh, you lost me?
I lost you a second. Yeah, you're back. Hi.
Oh, okay. The North Circular, is that the A41 or something?
The A406.
406, that's what it is.
I think is the North Circular. But yeah, the A41 goes around Watford, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. That's it, yeah. So, I lived there for a couple of years. It's nice cities over there.
It is actually, yeah. I'm very, very happy with where I live. It's lovely.
Yeah, it was a little expensive down there, but, well, compared to where we grew up, right?
Tell me about it. Shocking.
It is shocking.
Don't get me started.
How much is a pint of beer nowadays?
You know, it must be about £4, I think, these days.
Is it really?
I would have thought it's about that. Certainly in London, you can expect to pay £4 or £5 for a pint.
I can imagine.
I don't go out very often.
Well, you can't for £4 a pint, can you?
You really can't.
I remember when I was growing up, it was like £1.50 for a bottle of Budweiser.
Yeah,
I think that's
student subsidies.
Yeah.
For students, what were we thinking?
Yeah, £1 a pint night, you couldn't beat it.
Yes, all right. Yes, yeah.
I love it. That's funny. So is voice acting like your full-time gig now? Then is that your thing?
Yeah, it is. It is. It always has been, really, since about 1999.
Jesus.
Which is great, and I don't think there's many people. There's an increasing number of people who are full-time voiceovers, but
Yeah.
when I started, most people were actors or broadcasters, and then voiceover was a kind of subsidiary to that. But
Right.
there's a growing trend for people to just do voiceover work, which is
Right.
great, because there's an ever-increasing demand for it. The internet and digital TV have expanded, and there's everyone needs voiceover for something. So there's more work, but there's more people doing it as well. So there's more competition.
And I guess video game, like the blow up in video games over the past 15, 20 years has been pretty huge too, right?
It has, I believe. I'm no expert, but I believe that the video gaming industry outstripped the movie industry in the last couple of years in terms of
revenue,
kind of turnover and revenue. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I read a similar thing saying that the Call of Duty franchise overtook in dollars revenue like the Pirates of the Caribbean or something crazy like that.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's almost like you feel so far removed from it, you didn't know that all that was happening on the back end.
No, that's right. And I'm not a gamer. I don't play video games, really. I'm sort of, vaguely aware of what's going on. What I'm mostly aware of is that it's massive beyond my comprehension.
Right.
And there's, hundreds and thousands of games I've just never heard of, but millions of people play them all the time. And
right.
And it's enormous. It's bigger than the movie industry, and that's just phenomenal, really.
Yeah,
but the money they spend on it, and I think it's partly to do with the technology. Really, you can have games that are so immersive now, you really struggle to tell whether it's a movie or a video game,
right?
In terms of look and feel of it,
don't
you? And you think about the advances in sort of render. I remember there was about 15, 20 years ago they did a film which had they needed a whole computer just to render the hair, and it still looked shit. And
right.
And now it's just, some you look at some CGI films and you go, I cannot believe this isn't real.
Right. Yeah, I remember when Jurassic Park came out. You remember that?
Yes. Yeah.
That was kind of the. To me, at least, that was like the mainstream one. I'm sure there was like so much lead up to that, but I feel like that was a big like splash in the ocean. It was like, look, we made dinosaurs, kind of thing.
That's right. And you look at the effects now; they hold up pretty well. I mean, you can, we're used to seeing that thing now, and you can see some of the strings, I think, but mostly it's totally convincing. And Terminator as well. Remember the Terminator 2?
I remember that with the liquid aluminium and stuff. Yeah.
And that was a real. I mean, that looks slightly dated now as well, but at the time, oh my god, this is incredible.
Yeah, it was. I remember watching that as a kid.
And VR is the next thing. Virtual reality is going to be the next massive thing in the gaming industry.
I know. And they're linking that to Payday. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
So Overkill put out something a couple of months ago saying that Payday VR is in works. And it's going to be free to everyone who owns the game in the near future.
Wow.
So people will actually be able to play as you, which is really
cool.
Oh my god. But that's really...
How exciting.
How exciting. Oh god, that's funny. So you say you don't play video games. Have you ever played Payday or no?
No, not really. No, I had a little go when they first launched it. In fact, possibly even before they launched it, they had like a little sort of, a pilot. And I remember playing it for sort of 20 minutes online.
Yeah.
I was shit at it. Really awful at it.
Well, it's not the easiest thing to get used to, I guess. Like,
I don't know. I mean, I'm used to kind of, platform games like Abe's Odyssey, jump, fart, and duck. That's, 3 controls. And then in Payday, you've got umpteen different. I couldn't get the hang of it. I just kept walking into walls and shooting innocent bystanders. And so no, I don't play. I mean, I'm just not a video gamer at all. Anyway, I play Minecraft with my son, and that's about it, really.
Yeah. Did you play as yourself when you played it?
That's a good question. I think I did.
Yeah, you've got to, don't you?
Oh, do you know what? No, I didn't. I think it was before they'd recorded any of mine. It was really quite early on in the development.
Okay.
This is what it's going to be like. I think it might be before. If it wasn't before I'd recorded any stuff, it was certainly before they'd put any of my content in the game. So it was very early on.
Was that the first one, or was that the second one? Do you know?
It's the first one.
Oh, it was the very early one.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I completely see the appeal of these things. It's just, I'm sort of busy with other stuff, and I don't make time in my life for video games. One day when I retire, I'll catch up.
You can play Payday 7 or something.
Payday 7, and I'll watch the box set of The West Wing, and all of these things.
yeah, that's a good idea, mate. What about so we talked about voice acting. What about the singing that what you did on the Christmas album? We've got to talk about that.
That was great fun. So that
was it really?
It was brilliant. It was all. I mean, I did stand-up comedy songs on the London circuit for about 10 or 12 years. So I was sort of doing that kind of thing already. And then Simon Bicklin came along. I forget when I think it was after Payday 2. He came along and said, "I've written some comedy songs. I want you to sing them as Hoxton." Yeah, all right, no problem. And I think that is the most fun I've ever had in a voiceover booth.
Really?
It was brilliant. Yeah, and because the songs are all hilarious and the writing's brilliant, but I also got to sort of mess about with them and add little harmonies here and there, and yeah, it was great fun.
But you're not a singer, right? Or you are?
Not professionally, no. Right. But I've had a bit of training. I've been singing in a fairly serious way since I was about 8. I was in a choir, and then I went to university, and I was in shows and university choirs and stuff like that. And I run a choir now. Cool. So I've always enjoyed singing, and and then there was all the comedy songs as well. So yes, the singing's always been a part of my life. It's just not really been a money earner. I've never really done it professionally.
Right. You said you did the comedy circuit. Was it so you did like stand-up comedian?
Yes, wouldn't say I was particularly successful, but I did it for 10 or 12 years, and really, I mean, the songs were good. They stood up. That was all right. But then, and I kind of thought, I better have something to say in between the songs instead of silently fumbling around for the next, fret hold. And so I tried to write a bit of stand-up, and it was all right. It wasn't embarrassing. Some of it was embarrassing. It's really, I tried proper stand-up. I kind of even put the guitar down for 10 or 20 minutes and just did stand-up, and I'm it's just not my forte. It's really, really hard. Some people can do it, some people can't. I think, to be honest, I kind of knocked around with a few people on the stand-up comedy circuit who are now enormous. Jimmy Carr was on the same comedy night class as me. And the difference between him and me is that he was very talented in the first place, and also just devoted his whole life to it. And he was very. I think this is what you have to do to be successful. It's partly about the talent, and I don't deny Jimmy Carr is very talented, but also he worked very hard at it, and he would do 6 gigs a week. He famously did 300 gigs a year. He would sleep on people's sofas, travel from one end of the country to another. And you have to do that for 5 or 10 years and earn almost nothing sometimes to make a big breakthrough. And I just didn't have the talent or the commitment, really. But I enjoyed it while it lasted.
You just wanted to sing a few funky songs and get off. That's so funny.
Always good fun.
Well, it's interesting because no one probably knows that about Jimmy Carr unless you probably read his autobiography or you know him, right?
I don't know. I think I forget how he started. Was he a teacher or an IT consultant? I mean, he had a proper kind of desk, suit, tie job, and just went, sod this, I want to be a stand-up comedian, and went to night classes and learned this craft and went away and worked hard on it, and, wrote every second of the day, and I know lots of other people who've done that as well, If you work hard at it and you're always thinking, people watching, listening out, jotting ideas down and crafting jokes.
Good for them. Something I could never do.
No, it's not for everyone, and I think I worked out it wasn't for me.
You fell into something a lot more your style, huh?
I really enjoy what I do, and it's great. I can, most of the time I work from home, and I get paid to show off.
Right. Well, it was funny because I spoke to the voice actor who played Locke in the Payday series. His name's Ian.
Right.
I'm not sure if you ever spoke to him or. But
I think we've come across each other on Twitter. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know he's very active on Twitter as you are. But he was saying that his booth in his house, because he does all of his voice acting in his house, is like a microphone with a curtain around it and some foam and stuff. Is that kind of your kind of thing too?
It's not far off that. It's a purpose-built cupboard. So there are three stud walls and a door, and lots of acoustic foam and some shields. And I mean, I take it reasonably seriously. But yeah, there are people who earn a living every day in a corner of their bedroom with duvets nailed to the walls.
Right.
That's how I started.
If you get
nothing wrong with nailing a duvet to the wall. Right. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, the more up to a point, the more you spend on your studio, the better the studio sound.
Right.
And what you don't want is for clients to quietly say to themselves, the studio sounds not very good, I'm not going to book you, because you never get to hear that conversation.
Yeah.
They just stop booking you and you don't know why.
Yeah, that's wow. So
you have to make sure that your studio sounds good, and actually occasionally people go, well, I think you're a bit off mic, or I think everyone's always trying to improve the way they sound, because you kind of stand or fall by it, really.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's kind of what you're judged on, other than the voice, right? Is the quality. It must be.
Yeah, definitely. And given that there's so many people that want to do this now, the only, you have to have the kind of unique selling point of sounding great. I mean, it's nailing a duvet to a wall is one thing, and then get a floating floor and kind of 3 doors between you and any traffic, that sort of thing is a step further.
Well, if there's any aspiring voice actors watching or listening to this, they're going to be nailing their duvets to the wall this afternoon.
Nail those duvets up. There's a brilliant place for it, because there's such a movement now of people that want to do this for a living, that there's actually a network being set up called the Voiceover Network.
Oh, wow.
And they exist purely to help people who want to get into voiceovers arrive there, and also to for continuous professional development for people who already are successful voiceovers. So, and there's all sorts of events and advice and training and everything you ever could possibly want to know.
Well, that's pretty cool. And the entry point's pretty low too, right? Like, you just need a microphone and for that, right?
Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, I mean, I would say to people, do spend a few weeks doing some research about how difficult it is to get into voiceovers and where you think you would fit into the market, and you don't need to spend thousands of pounds on a studio. You need a nice quiet corner that's properly insulated, and you need a mic that costs a few £100, and digital interface that costs maybe £200-300. You need a good computer. You need to know your way around some editing software.
Yeah.
So it's not just like mumbling into your phone. You've got to do some training and some research and spend a bit of money. But it's certainly not. You can do it for probably less than £3,000 or £4,000. I would have thought.
And get yourself up and running.
Yeah.
But then you've got to be good at it too.
You have, and you've got to put a good show reel together, because the competition is so stiff that you've got to really know your way around your editing software and make it sound as though you've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
And do a bit of marketing, build yourself a decent website. Nobody, please look at my website, because it's 15 years out of date. But yeah, that's the next thing on my to-do list, is to sort my website out. But you've got to have a presence.
Yeah.
And you're running a business, basically. You have to be into networking and marketing and social media and
yeah. So I think I read somewhere. Do you own, or do you have your own kind of agency, or was that in the past?
Right, I do. No, I'm still part of that, and so I graduated in '96 and didn't have much of a plan. And my brother, who's 7 or 8 years older than me, was already a very successful, experienced voiceover, and wanted to set up his own agency and needed someone to run it. So I did that for about 3 years, and the agency grew. We hired more staff, and I thought, do you know what? It looks a lot more fun being the other side of the microphone. So I'll see if I can make that transition. So I made the unusual transition from voiceover agent to voiceover artist, and I've never looked back. So I'm still involved with the agency. Excellent talent. They're still going strong. Nearly 21 years old, and
wow.
And very successful, very well thought of agency, I'm very proud to say.
I guess there's a few perks to running an agency and being a voice actor too, right?
Yeah, well, yes and no. I can't deny, I've had
double dipping a little bit.
The what? Sorry.
Double dipping a little bit.
No, well, the thing is, no, absolutely not. So I don't get preferential treatment as an artist on the books, because, and I certainly don't sit in their office and answer their phones, because we've got 150 other voices and if they thought that I was sitting there creaming off all the work, they'd be extremely unhappy situation. And so no, I think the girls in the office are very, very even-handed about everything, and I don't. I mean, the only preferential treatment I've had is that, you know, I've had the perk of having a voiceover booth in the corner of their central London office for about 10 years, so that was very nice. Thank you very much. But no, I don't think I get any more or less work than anyone else in my kind of bit of the market.
Right, that's pretty funny though.
You have to be very, very fair about this.
Yeah, I guess.
No, definitely. There's a great deal of trust at stake here, and no, it would absolutely not be fair if I would get.
No, it wouldn't. Do you get any creative license when you do voiceover acting, or do you literally just get the script and go for it?
Well, it's mostly you just read the words that somebody else has written, and you get behind it, you invest yourself in it, and you're kind of testify. But you don't get to edit the text. You read what's written, unless you've got a strong moral objection to something.
Right.
But yeah. But with Payday, what's been special about that for me, one of the things that's made it special is a bit of creative input into what the character might say in a given situation. And so, especially since a lot of the scripts were written initially by the kind of Swedish team.
Right, yeah.
Who, I mean, they all spoke faultless English, but they didn't necessarily know what a Yorkshire dialect would be, and
Right.
What's a wazzock, please?
Right, or who are Sheffield Wednesday?
Yes, exactly. So they kind of said, well, we want some swearing here, but you have to make it your own. So I got to, improvise a bit. And that's very unusual and was great fun.
Oh, I can imagine. That's really cool. Do you know how many voice lines there are for your character in Payday?
No, I have no idea, but it must run into the thousands.
Yeah,
because the spreadsheet that they give you has got thousands and thousands of cells in it across several tabs, and in different modes, obviously. So a lot of the lines are repeated, but in 3 different gears. So you're in stealth mode. You haven't been spotted. Security cameras. You've got to say these 200 lines. Okay, now step it up because there's a bit of a firestorm going on. You've got to say them all again, but with a bit more projection. And now the cops are breathing down your neck, and there's sniper fire everywhere. So you've got to scream them at the top of your lungs. So, yeah, a lot of lines.
That's pretty crazy, yeah. So on the, because it's kind of interesting. So on the sheet that you get with all the lines, it gives you some kind of direction too, or you have someone telling you that.
I think for Payday, actually, it doesn't. There's no written context, but the director is always very clear to give you, to instruct you as to what the context is. Because the more information you've got, the more realistic this will be. So,
did you record the lines in your house or over in Sweden, or where did you do that?
No, they're all recorded at a studio in London called the Sound Company.
Okay.
And I think they recorded quite a lot of the other characters there. I know Simon Kerr recorded there. And they're a very well-known, very famous London studio, and they are particularly good at sort of character. They do a lot of TV animation stuff, cartoons and what have you, and video game work, so they're quite well set up for all of that.
Oh, wow. Do you remember any of your voice lines? You knew I was going this way, right?
No, there's the ones I really like was I think when you enter a new environment and it's very impressive, and there was just sort of fuck me, it looks like a French horse boutique bedroom or something. I can't remember. There was just like that kind of stuff. I can't remember any specific lines apart from the ones that have become catchphrases, like "Did you miss me, you wankers?" and that kind of thing.
Are you in a place where you could yell that like you yell it in the game, or would that be too loud?
Not really. It would be loud. And my family is downstairs.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, I was like
running.
That would be a little weird, just upstairs yelling wanker.
Yeah, is everything all right up there? I remember recording a radio ad once for fire safety team in Hull, I think, and I had to pretend to be trapped in a burning building. So I was in a cupboard with the door shut, going, help, let me out, for God's sake, let me out, at the top of my lungs. And my brother, who worked in the next room, thought I was trapped and in trouble and came in and said, "You
Just
right,
like-
I can't let you out."
Just like bursted in.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to be careful how much shouting you do, really, when there's other people around.
That's so funny. That is really good. Well, so what do you have coming up? Like, is there anything else we can like see you in or hear you in or?
Right, there's a lot of NDAs been signed.
Oh, okay.
So I'm allowed to say that I've voiced a couple of characters in Warhammer 2.
Okay.
Which I'm really looking forward to. They're sort of releasing information bit by bit, and I'm looking forward to the launch of that, which I think is in September. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Later this year, anyway. So that's exciting. And then there's another game that I've just recorded a bunch of lines for, which I'm not allowed to say anything about at all.
Yeah.
But that was really good fun. There was a lot of screaming in that one.
Do you prefer that kind of voice acting, like yelling?
No,
but it was fun.
It's fun for a bit. Don't get me wrong, and
Yeah.
it's quite, the kind of high octane action stuff is great fun, but it takes it out of you, sort of physically and vocally. And I remember the first session I did for Payday, I couldn't really speak properly for 2 weeks afterwards.
Oh wow!
But I've learned a bit about how to moderate that. I need some lessons in vocal technique. I'm actually looking into having some shouting lessons. Is there ways of doing it without
25 years later?
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
No, it's good. No, it's good fun, but it takes it out of you. So I try and organise the sessions so that I'm not shouting for more than half an hour at a time.
Yeah.
But no, it's always good fun.
Oh, that's awesome. And then, so they also announced Payday 3 was in development, but you wouldn't be able to tell us anything about that, right?
I can't tell you anything at all about that, mostly because I don't know anything more than you do. I don't think.
Oh, right, okay.
But I gather it has been announced, so I'm looking forward to that.
Just waiting for a phone call, right?
Yeah.
Just waiting for the phone to ring. That's pretty good. Right. I would be remiss if I did not take some questions from the 600 people sitting here watching us.
Sure.
So there's been a lot of hashtag ask him to yell wanker, but I don't think we can. What's the loudest you could say that word for me right now?
No, I can't. No. Seriously, I'll get a red warning from my son if he hears me shouting that kind of thing. But if you may or may not know that I'm on Twitter as Hoxton on Demand.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And if you look down the timeline there will be a bunch of tweets pointing to a Dropbox link, which has got all sorts of stuff on there. So, and I'm sure
that's
more than one of them is me shouting wanker very loud. So,
I'm sure.
Sorry, I can't oblige here and now.
Yeah, I can imagine. Right, let's see what else. Let's see what else we've got in here. People want you to say twat. That's an easy one. Again,
it'll be on Dropbox somewhere.
It's very PG rated in the house right now.
I love this. The zenith of my acting career is yelling obscenities at the top of my voice. It'll be on my tombstone.
It will. Was one of your lines "run like your mattress is on fire"? Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
It was it. Jed said in the chat, "Say run like your mattress is on fire." I don't remember that one.
No, but it sounds like the sort of thing that Hoxton might say. And I think because this sort of dry Sheffield humour started to leak through, and the writers, I think, sort of accommodated that a bit more and would write some funny shit in there. So,
oh my god, let me see. How does it feel like to be a popular heister?
Great. I mean, brilliant. I'm very flattered.
Yeah.
Because it's the most fun. I mean, video gaming in general is the most fun you can have behind a microphone, and especially Payday. That's been very good to me, and I'm delighted that people like the character and enjoy the work and the game. It's great. It's very flattering, really, because I think there's lots of people that could do what I do. To be honest, I feel very lucky that I've been sort of chosen and that people enjoy.
How old is your son?
He is 8.
8 years old.
So no, he doesn't play Payday.
He's too young.
I've muted it. What an idiot! So I don't know why I muted the channel. Hello.
oh, was it? Let's see what else we got. Oh, there's a lot of "Did he miss me, you wankers?" Still, it's still coming through. it's relentless. It's relentless. Any tips for budding voice actors?
Well, we've sort of touched on this already, really, haven't we?
Yeah.
I think you have to be aware that it's a very competitive market.
Yeah.
Work out where you fit into it and why you would get booked. And invest a bit of time and money in training.
Yeah.
Probably you might have to work for free for a bit.
Yeah.
But there, I mean, certainly in the States, for years there have been companies that will provide voiceover training, and now in the UK there are also some that do that. And as I say, a good place to start is the Voiceover Network.
Right.
You're based in the UK. Have a look at them. Just have a look on the search engine for Voiceover Network, and keep practicing. They always say read something every day. Read out loud every day. That's probably good advice.
That's a good idea. Yeah, it's a good idea.
But I think having listened to a lot of demos, obviously as an agent, I still listen to other artists' demos every week. And what I always advise people is to be brutally honest about their abilities. So, for example, I would never put on my demo a deep movie trailer. It was a time of war. I can't do that. I can't get down there. I don't sound like I'm 50 and have been smoking Benson and Hedges for decades. There's very little point me putting that stuff on my show reel because I won't get cast for it. I'll sound like a phony and people will go, he's shit. So you have to be quite self-aware, really, before you get into it.
That makes sense.
You don't have to have a beautiful set of pipes. You don't have to have a soft, mellifluous, deep voice. People very often want unusual sounding, even kind of flippant, casual voices that don't sound like a voiceover. So if you can do that your aim is to become the go-to guy for whatever it is that you do best.
Okay, that makes sense.
Rambling, really.
Did you go to any of the Payday cons? Have you been to any of those?
No, I haven't. I think they've mostly been in the States, and I haven't really. Do you know? I went to Comic-Con London last year. It was the first convention I'd been to, and it was brilliant fun. And I think I hadn't really worked out. See, for me, obviously, it would be an expensive business to go to a Payday Con.
Yeah, it would.
And without being too mercenary about it, if I'm taking time out of work away from my studio, not earning money, and shelling several £100 on flights and hotels, I need to make sure it's worth my while doing it. And I'm not really sure how the mechanics of that would work, how the money would. And I signed a few masks and photos and things at Comic-Con, and I was frankly amazed that anyone would want my signature on. But if there's a market for that, then I would certainly consider it.
Yeah.
I've seen photos of the last Payday Con. It looked brilliant. I think at one point there was like 14 Hoxtons in a room, and they tweeted it to me. It was brilliant.
Was that the last one in Australia though?
There was one in Sydney, wasn't there?
Yeah, that would have been super expensive for you and your family to go over, right? For nothing.
Would. I mean, that would have been fun. Bring the family. The trouble is, I'm restricted to school holidays for that. But if they ever had one in London, I'd be there like a shot.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah,
it'd be great.
So, how many hours did it take to do all the voice lines? Would you say? Do you get them like first time, or does it take a few hits?
Mostly it's first time these days.
Yeah, because you've got better at it over time. Would you say? Is that why?
Yeah. I can sort of slip into it fairly easily, and there's I'm aware what the sort of context is, and it's if we're trying not to get caught, so we're whispering, or you've just been hit, so you cry out in pain. And I know the sort of parameters of the game a bit better.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll give them 2 or 3 takes of a line just for choice or whatever, but I couldn't tell you how many hours I've spent voicing it.
Right.
I've lost track, but probably I would say I've probably spent between 24 and 48 hours of my life just saying things as Hoxton.
That's good though. That's fun.
Not bad.
I'd
like to spend more doing that.
Well, yeah. When was the last time you did it? Because I assume you like the updates and stuff when new things are introduced, right?
Yeah, but very often they're recorded way ahead of time and they're not released for months.
Right.
So I don't think, oh, come on, when was the last time? And sometimes they did that Hoxton Breakout trailer and that kind of thing. It was a sort of separate project. And then the Hoxton's Housewarming as well. Again, that was a...
Yeah, oh, right. That was all about you.
It's brilliant. John Cleese as my butler.
Oh, that's right.
What a bizarre turn of events that was.
You never met him, right?
No.
No.
He would have been recording from a comfy armchair somewhere in London,
sure.
I think.
Yeah.
So, I can't remember when the last time I recorded a Payday session was, but it would have been several months ago.
Right. Wow, that's crazy.
There'll be some Payday 3 stuff through soon.
Yeah, that would be great. I can't wait for that. Have you ever met any of the other characters, or is it just on social media?
Simon Kerr I have met because we are with the same ages. Well, actually, no. Are we anymore? No, I think we were with the same ages. Certainly when it started, and we kind of crossed paths in reception at the recording studio and that kind of thing. Who else have I met? I've met Rona Cameron.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was doing a show in Edinburgh, and I think we kind of made an approach to say, do you want to come with us for voiceover work? And she said, sure, why don't you come and see my show? So I did.
Oh, very cool.
She got something stuck in her eye in the middle of the show.
That's what you remember.
It was really weird. No, it was a brilliant show, but this is why I remember it, is that my wife she said, please, genuinely, I've got something in my eye, I can't carry on the show. Can someone come and help me get this out of my eye? My wife ended up on stage spending 5 minutes rummaging around in Rona Cameron's eye, trying to get this grit out of her eye so that we could carry on with the show. And people didn't know what to make of it. This is a bit of a weird routine. What's going on? And it was genuine.
That is so crazy. What a story. You don't still keep in touch with her, do you?
No, well, she's one of our artists, so I don't. No, I don't have any dealings with her because I don't answer the phones. But yeah, the girls in the office will speak to her. Ooh, I would imagine.
I was wondering if you could pull some strings and get me in touch with
her. I don't. No, I can't really, because as her agent, I can't really sort of pass on contact details. Yeah. If I were you, the best thing to do is approach her on Twitter.
Oh, I didn't know she was.
Maybe she's not. Hang on.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I'd have to double check. Because.
Oh, hang on, Rona Cameron.
Oh, she is.
Looks like it.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
At the Rona Cameron.
Oh, okay. I'll do that then. That's really cool. It's funny. Everyone that I've contacted, you were probably the most difficult. 'Cause you have so many people following you, and you're probably one of the most busiest. But you've always got a lot going on. But.
Must be. I think there's a lot of people much busier than me on Twitter, but yeah, and I'm not a religious checker of Twitter. Actually, I probably only check it once a day or once every other day. But I try and respond to everything.
That's a lot when you've probably got what 18,000 people following you on there or something.
I think it was
last
weird.
time.
Well, that only happened as a result of Payday as well. They said, unlock this extra content.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
21.9 thousand followers. Most of whom are probably deeply disappointed when I tweet about sort of mundane stuff. Look at my sandwich I'm having for breakfast. Oh, this train's hot. I'm looking forward to choir practice tonight. And there's all these people going, why is this
is
anything to do with Payday?
Yeah, exactly.
What are you on about?
Come on, say wanker for me.
Exactly. So there's two different channels. There's Pete Gold voiceover. So there's at Pete Gold _, which is my sort of all-day multi-purpose account, and then there's the Hoxton one, which is at Hoxton on Demand.
That's the one.
Which has a much more modest number of followers.
Yeah, right.
It's fine, and I love doing what I do, and I will voice your requests there within reason, but also I get horribly behind with those. I think I just did I released a batch of about 90, and it took me kind of most of a morning to do it, and I do it for free, so I end up doing it as and when I can, and I think 6 or 7 months had gone by.
Oh God, she had a backlog. So
you can tweet me there. I can't guarantee I'll get back to you
in 9 months
within a reasonable time frame. There's certainly the people that say it's my best friend's birthday tomorrow. Disappointed. I'm sorry.
We're going for a guilt trip on that one.
Yeah.
Oh well. Well, I don't want to keep too long, so I've got 3 things that we want you to say.
Sure.
We've got it's Payday, fellas.
It's Payday, fellas.
Oh, that was a good one. That was really good. And then we've got, hey, you get moving and keep your distance.
Hey, you get moving. Keep your distance.
That was damn good, mate. I loved it. You know what's funny? because I could talk to you all day, but you know what's funny is when you put that voice on, it doesn't really sound like you. We're talking normal.
No, good. I hope not.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll have very many friends if I talk like that all the time.
But it literally sounded like that. Like to me, that sounded like you nailed it. It sounded exactly like, you know what I mean. It was kind of bizarre that you just did that. That was weird.
Thanks very much.
Very cool indeed. That was really good.
It's like putting on a mask.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it looked like. Yeah, that's amazing. Wow.
Well, listen, thank you for having me. And,
yeah, that was amazing. Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
It really has. Yeah, I really enjoyed myself.
Shout out to everyone sort of watching it live, and yeah, keep heisting, and I hope you enjoy Payday 3 when it comes out.
And yeah, I can't wait to hear you in it, my friend.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
All right, Pete. Thanks for talking to me again.
Pleasure. Thanks
a
lot.
See you later.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye. Dudes, how fun was that? Sound like a British Stewie. Nano, you're funny, dude. Wow, wasn't that amazing? Wow, dude. What a cool guy. Huh? What a cool dude. Didn't those voice lines sound incredible? Was that just me, or did they sound like actual game lines? What the F, man? That was so badass. His voice... Yeah, right, Will. His voice acting was mental there.
Did you miss me, you wankers?